All right, so back to regular starts of weekly reading vlogs. I am feeling much better this week, and let's talk about what I'm reading. Also, if you stalk my board game shelf, this is my newest board game. I'm very happy about it. I haven't played it yet. These are all games in like the same series. I don't know, it's the same designer and publisher, and so it's like a trio. But they're the same type of game, as in they're like strategy games, but they're not. You don't have to play one and then the other sort of thing. They're all separate. But I'm a completionist, so I have the trilogy. If you play board games, it's also the designer of Raiders of the North Sea, which I know has an app, and also a fun game. But anyways, that's a tangent. This just came in the mail. I'm very happy about it. And so, what am I reading? Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is so fun so far. So I'm about 95 pages in. This is a pre-Columbia high fantasy. So Columbian era, so aka before Europeans came to the Americas, which means it's going to have influences from lots of indigenous cultures. From what I can tell, I mean, I don't know a lot, but it's definitely like not necessarily like Aztec or Incan sort of thing. At least I've been in a lot of settings with like winter and fall, which is not something that happens in like Peru and Mexico to at least the extent that's described here. But it's pretty cool. The first chapter is a ride. Like it was she went there. It was a little dark, but I'm really excited. We have a whole bunch of characters we're following. We've got I think his name's Sapario. I'm really bad at remembering names on a Serapio. And so we start off with him, and we have this other character, which I think is Zila, and she's really cool. She's like she likes to run ships and stuff like that, and we meet her in like a jail cell. She's great. And then we have the other character that we've been following is I think Narampa. I'm very bad at names. Narampa, yeah. And she's really cool. So they all have really intriguing like backstories, and we sometimes get to hop in the timeline back and forth. The headings of each chapter tells you where you are, and it seems like we're all heading towards this like convergence state, and I love that. I love a good countdown. So really intrigued. Love the cover. I love Rebecca Roanhorse's writing. It took me a little bit to get into it, but mainly because my head was just not feeling it yesterday. But I'm in it now. So I've been buddy reading this with Tori Morrow, which you should follow her if you don't already. So that's been great. Really excited. Ugh. Yeah, Oathbringer. I just finished part 3 this morning when I was going on an errand to Costco. Poor Kaladin is really all I got. And everyone. It's really not a good position. I remember the first time reading this, and now this time it's like I really admire the direction this went. It's probably not something you would expect or predict based off your experience with fantasy when you read that part. At least I know every time I read it, I'm like, bold move. And part 4 is really exciting to me. I don't know if it's like the best part, but there's like a thing that happens which like solidifies my love for Adolin like a lot. So I'm excited. So yeah, been consuming this and been really enjoying my time, like a lot more than I remember my first time through. I wonder if I was just in like low-key depression state last time, because it took me like a whole month to read Oathbringer. And that was the only book I was reading. Granted, it was 3 years ago, and I was not reading nearly as much as I do now, so I was probably spending more of my free time with board games and other stuff. So that's probably why. And my cat is yowling. I don't know if you'll hear that on this, but he's been in a mood today. All right, so yeah, that's what I'm reading. I'm really excited. I'm getting a new phone on Friday, and the phone's camera is supposed to be like really good. So maybe I'll try and do some vlog clips with that, because I kind of want to be more mobile with my vlog clips. But I'm kind of like, I hate using this phone for it. It's like 4.5 years old. It's not amazing quality. Not that this is amazing, but it's at least 1080p. So yeah, so I'm excited for a new phone, and Ryan and I are filming a video later this week, and that'll be really fun. So maybe you'll have seen it by the time you see this vlog. I have no idea when I'm scheduling anything right now. But that is the start of this vlog, and I will check in as I have more thoughts. This is a test clip that might not make it into the vlog. I just got my new phone, and I'm very excited. But I'm also not used to recording with a phone, so like I don't know if anyone else struggles with this, but like my picture is over here and I keep wanting to stare at myself. But then if I do, my eyes are going to be in the wrong place. But anyways, so here I go. What have I been reading? Well, I am so close to being done with Oathbringer. It's in the other room, but the boyfriend's recording like a podcast with his friends. So something about like they want to work on a podcast where they talk about the teams that make it to the Super Bowl but don't win the Super Bowl. So like kind of cool. I don't know. They're big football nerds and it's been fun for them to work on. So yay. So I'm very, very close to finishing Oathbringer and I am so excited. I think my first read through, I gave this 4 stars. It's a 5-star read now. It was so much fun. I think part of it is like the third book is so long and drawn out and you kind of get lost in it because the characters are lost too. The characters are like, what do we do? We don't know anything. So that's kind of what happens to you. And although that's organic and makes sense, it's, you know, it's exhausting a little, especially with 1,300 pages almost. Maybe it's 1,234, but they're like the really long pages. And the last part that I'm on is very much like that final scene in a huge action movie. I'm thinking like Endgame from like the Avengers, or even just that scene in the Avengers where you're just like, this is so awesome. Like when you just like want to fist pump the air because you're like, yes, that moment happened. That's so cool. That's how I feel about the last part of Oathbringer. So, but now we're kind of wrapping things up and like I'm so excited for Dawn Shard and Rhythm of War. And I'm also still reading Black Sun. I've been buddy reading this with Tori from Tori Morrow, and this one's like the opposite of a Sanderlanche. Like I'm very much in the story and I'm enjoying it. The world building's phenomenal. I really like all the characters I've been introduced to. One of them is Serapio, and he is blind. And I really like when I get character perspectives like that because I was talking to Jade from Bedtime Bookworm, and it's like we both don't visualize when we read. Like I think some people have like mini movies in their head and I more feel things. Like I'm still making a scene but it's not visual, and I feel like when I get to read characters that are written from a disabled perspective when it comes to absorbing their atmosphere, I get really cool ways to interact with that phrasing, if that makes sense. And he's also fascinating, like his backstory and just like he's definitely the linchpin of this plot, although we both don't know where the plot is going. Although I have a voice message from Tori who's like, I'm dying, and they're at a chapter I'm not at, but because I told her today, I just need to finish Oathbringer and then I'm into Black Sun. So that's kind of what I've been doing there. It's really good. I mean, I think almost 200 pages in, I wouldn't say there's an obvious plot. Like there's obvious things people are doing, but I don't know who I'm rooting for. I don't know what the end game is, sort of thing, but I also don't mind. It's beautiful writing, amazing world building. I like the characters, or at least even if I don't like them, I'm invested. So yeah, it's really cool. And that's what I've been reading. I feel like that's reasonable. And maybe tomorrow Ryan and I are gonna go take a day trip and go see the ocean on the Cape, which will be nice. It'll be one of the last nice warmish fall weekends, we think. And yeah, it's just gonna be a good time. And if we go, you're gonna see clips. with a baby. I just finished Once Upon an Eid. Oh, I love this story. I posted about it on Instagram, and let me tell you, this is wholesome, hopeful, joyful vibes. If you grew up and you celebrated a holiday, it doesn't have to be Eid, could be Thanksgiving, Christmas, any of them, you have had an experience that relates to someone in this book, and it's amazing and it's heartfelt. And I learned things, which is really what I wanted, was like to learn about something I didn't know much about and to be connected to stories. And I feel like I needed the resilience of children this month, and that's what I got here. It reminded me of all those times that I thought my world was ending, and it wasn't, and everything was just fine, if not better than fine. So good. Read this. It's really good. And back to the cat. Lila. She's such a fuzz. Yeah. She's on a Yu-Gi-Oh blanket. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but this is a Yu-Gi-Oh blanket. And I'm now going to get back to reading Black Sun, which is also going really well. I'm pretty far into it, halfway. Things have been picking up. So I'm going to do that. And I will check in with you guys later. Maybe with my face. After much distraction, because we got on a Discord with some friends, I'm going to spend the rest of my evening reading Black Sun. After a really lovely day outside, we went to the Cape and walked along the beach, had a nice outdoor meal, and it was really fun and just nice to get out of the apartment for a day and enjoy the nice weather while we still can. But now I just want to dive into this because Tori's significantly ahead of me now and says it's really picking up. I mean, we've both been loving this story. I don't know how much I've talked about it, but it's really like atmospheric. We both agree is not the right word, but it's very, you feel like you're being told a story, and it's really nice to just sit there and let it all soak in. It's just really lovely. But like for the first 150 or so pages, it's kind of one of those countdown plots is what I call it. Like, you know something's going to happen at a particular point, and each chapter header is like blank days till the thing, and in this thing it's called the Convergence, which I think has something to do with the winter solstice. So you know when something big will happen, but you really don't know what or who you're rooting for, and specific character motivations can be like not as clear at times. Like, you definitely do feel like you know the characters and why they do what they do, but it's just been really interesting, and something just happened in chapter, I think 20, that like we both were like, what? So yeah, and I've been really enjoying the world building and how it pulls from indigenous cultures, but it's its own world. I have an ARC copy from Goodreads, so I don't have the beautiful maps, but the hardback has these gorgeous full cover maps. So I'm probably gonna buy a hardcover because I'm really enjoying this, and I'll probably buy all of them. And I'll pass this along to like my mom and my friends back home so they'll read it and then get sucked in. Because that's what I do, you know, pass along books you like to friends and stuff like that. So I'm gonna hunker down and read this and either tell you my thoughts later tonight or tomorrow. I don't know, trying this whole vlogging with a phone thing. We'll see how it works when this experiment's over. Is a pumpkin cat. You don't mind it, right? He actually really likes his pumpkin outfit. Actually, if we come over here, cat. Put down. I want to show you guys the jack-o'-lantern side, but he's not being very There you go, cat. It's his favorite outfit. Yeah, yes it is. Don't eat whatever that is. Anyways, the Browns just won. It was a nail biter of a game. Oh, this is my Browns jersey. And I was dying, so now I'm chilling with the pumpkin cat. And I'm probably going to try and, we have people over. Not that many. They're like the people in our bubble, so like 2 people. And I'm going to maybe go read Black Sun, because I got a little bit read last night. Not that much. I got really tired. But Tori's just sent me like 3 messages, and she's finished the book, so I have motivation. But yeah. Pumpkin cat. Time to end out this vlog clip. Also, I don't know if you saw this in the last clip, but that's my mom and that's my grandma. Obviously my grandma from a while ago. So yeah, I've been slowly putting up pictures and things like that, and it's been fun. I have finished Black Sun. I'm getting used to this mirror scenario, and I have a lot of mixed thoughts. Tori and I have had a lot of back and forth mixed thoughts. So what I will say is I'm still very excited to pick up the sequel when it comes out, whenever that is. But it's it did the thing I didn't like in Unkindness of Magicians, where a lot of important things happened really quickly. Like, most of this book was so nice and like fun to be in and be told the story and take your time with it, and then right when we get to the climax, it's like boom, 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 and oh great, now I want the next book. But yeah, and ironically, I think I wanted it to be significantly longer. Like, I do think I wanted like 100 or 200 more pages, not because it needed it, but because, I don't know, I love a lot of these characters. So I would have loved so much more of Okoa. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's Okoa. And he was really cool, but you only get like 3 or 4 of his times of perspectives. I would have liked more time in Tavo, which is like where the priestdom stuff and where the convergence is going to happen. But from like different perspectives, we only got one perspective. And like, I think it was supposed to be like intriguing, but I didn't feel the intrigue, and I think I would have if we'd spent more time. I did like the amount of time we've got with Serapio and Xaela. I'm pronouncing it Xaela. Again, it's Xiala. That's what the pronunciation I found when I looked online, but I'm not sure. I would have liked more Xaela backstory, but I did like the time we spent with those characters. Like, that's the thing. I loved a lot of these characters, but I wanted more of them. And then I wanted maybe the amount of time maybe I got with Okoa, I wanted with some of the more antagonistic characters to like get their perspective. But I really liked the world building. I thought the world building was great. Really liked that. And everything I said before in this vlog still holds. I would just read this knowing it's the first book in a series. That's part of it. It's not a first book or a book in a series that I think has what would be a satisfying ending to a lot of people. I didn't find it particularly cathartic. I think part of that is, like I said, it felt a little rushed. I don't mind cliffhangers. Not that this is necessarily a cliffhanger, but it kind of is. Like, there's a lot of threads that are not tied up. Or if they were tied up, they were tied up like really quick. So that's kind of my thoughts. I still really liked it. I just wanted more, right? Like, I just wanted a bit more, but it was also really fun. So I'm gonna close out the vlog. I finished 3 things this week. I finished Oathbringer, which got upgraded to a 5-star. Who saw that coming? Not me. I can't believe I read that book in 2 weeks. That's insane to me. I blame the audiobook for like helping me out, but like, it's still crazy. Oh, I think a cat just showed up. I finished Black Sun, and I finished Once Upon an Eid, which I need more people to pick up because it's just so wholesome and nice. It just makes my heart happy. Like, I was trying to think of what to rate it because I don't read middle grade, and I don't know how to like rate it in comparison to like my adult and young adult ratings, but like, I think it's a 5-star short story collection. I can't think of a short story that I didn't connect with in a meaningful way. Like, gosh, there was one that like punched me in the gut, and I'm like, Stephanie, you did not warn me, because Stephanie's from Miss Richards Reads, I'll put her link down below. She had read this before me, and she was so happy that I was reading it. But I was just like, there was one story, I can't remember what it was called, but it was rough. It was maybe Taste. It was basically, I think it was in verse, not prose, although it was like the type of verse that could be kind of similar to prose depending on how your brain does things. And this 12-year-old girl, I'm pretty sure it was a girl, 12-year-old child, just to be safe, is making a meal for Eid. And this was supposed to be the first year that they helped their mother make it, but their mother is in the hospital, and it's gut-wrenching. Like, if you've ever had a traumatic holiday for something outside of your control as a child, you remember it from reading that in verse. Like, ugh. But so many of them are much more like happy than that, but also I liked that breadth. I liked that variety of stories. It wasn't all just like, oh shucks, moral of the story for the kids, although those were there. Although I feel like I relate a lot to these children even now. Like, I'm 27 and I'm going to need to accept that this holiday season is going to be different. And if anything, I need to go back to like 13-year-old me and just like tough it up a little bit. But that's this week. On Monday, I already have my title battle with Ryan. It was a silly video. This Friday is my Science Behind the Magic for Vampires, and then you get a bonus video this weekend with Ryan because while we were filming the first one, we're like, oh wait, we should probably film this other thing too, and that would be Halloween themed. So on Halloween, you get a bonus video from me. I won't tell you what it is, but Ryan will also be there. Let me know what you're reading this week, you know, how your week's been, any highlights, any lowlights. Willing to listen to anything. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.